Thank you and good morning. And first of all, I'd like to start by to thank John and Jean Henry for inviting the third sector this morning to make a presentation. As it says in the script, I'm one of the organisations that forms part of the third sector interface for North Ayrshire, and together with two of my colleagues, and that's going to be Marie Oliver and Fiona, we're going to talk about the projects that have been run by the third sector as a result of funding from the Reshaping Care programme. But first, some of you may be thinking, well, what is this third sector interface? I'm just going to spend a minute of my slot just trying to explain why we are the organisations, why I am the lead officer for North Ayrshire, and why once a year I'm required to sign the document in the same way as John is required to sign it for the investment of the Change Fund. The Scottish Government requiring 4 signatories to it, which is the Council, the NHS Ayrshire and Arran, the independent sector in the shape of Scottish Care, and ourselves on behalf of the third sector interface. So third sector interface, possibly some of you haven't actually heard that term anyway, but you do know us, I think, from historically from the former roles that we used to undertake, which was the former volunteer centres in South, East and North Ayrshire, together with the former CVOs, the CVSs within North, South and East Ayrshire. Our role, as defined by the Scottish Government, is to provide 4 functions, and they are to support and develop a strong third sector, to support volunteering development, to support social enterprise development, and to build a strong relationship between the third sector and community planning. And that was the new role that we were given some 3 years ago by the Scottish Government, and that is why NHS Ayrshire and Arran in this case have used the lead partner system by engaging with the interfaces. And we have a difficult juggling act to do, because in undertaking this role to represent a sector, we're not talking about representing a sector of just a few interests. We're talking about large organisations, the nationals. We're talking about organisations that operate throughout North Ayrshire, South Ayrshire and East Ayrshire on a pan-Ayrshire basis. And we're talking about the smaller community groups or social enterprise that operate geographically only within a single local authority area. So we have this difficult balance in trying to carry out this representational role of trying to make certain that we keep them all to ensure fair play and to try to keep some form of balance within the sector. So our role has been different. We all come from different starting bases in terms of where we started from, in terms of priority setting, and also in terms of when you get down to the nuts and the nitty-gritty of it, where the Change Fund investment has actually been made. The starting platform has been on a local authority basis pretty much. And in East and South, a bidding process was undertaken where a sum of money was allocated to the sector, and the lead officers went forward with proposals saying we feel that these projects should be supported, and at the end of the day agreement was reached amongst the leads as to the projects to be supported. In North it was slightly different. It was a major culture change to actually get the third sector and the independent sectors around the table in that sort of shape. And certainly the projects in North, the priorities that I'm going to talk to you about on the investment that's been made, were actually determined against an action plan developed by the statutory sectors over the previous 2 years. So in terms of the why, as I start talking about North Ayrshire, did we do certain projects? It was to improve socialisation, to improve community capacity, but it was also against the context that some of the suggestions from the third sector for some types of projects were not seen at the time to be priorities for North. Nobody was saying that they weren't necessities, it was just that the priorities were seen in different directions. So turning to North, I'm going to give you just a snapshot of the investment that's been made and also the organisations that have been funded through the Change Fund. And then as we move forward to talk about the sustainability issues with them. And I think the first investment that was made was a significant investment in KA Leisure, which is the major leisure operator within North Ayrshire. And with their Change Fund investment that they received, they ran 10 Invigorate classes, free of charge to over 65s, And this was all to help reduce falls prevention type programs. Dementia awareness training for 6 instructors, so this was within their own organisation, to enable them to adapt the program to ensure it was suitable for those with dementia. So this was about inclusion, to ensure that everybody could benefit from the programs. And this resulted in programs run in 4 venues over a period of 6 months. A program called Class Diamonds, which was a range of different supported activities. And that included, I'm told, areas like curling, for example, bowling and whatever. And it was all around the area of trying to improve socialisation within the physical possibilities for the over 65s. Weight management classes, anybody who can see me will realise that I did not participate in the weight management class. 8 members of the KA team were trained by community dietitians to enable them to offer weight management sessions specifically targeted again for the over 65s. And finally, the work that they're currently undertaking, they have conducted a mapping exercise looking at gaps of service provision in supported activities, which will result eventually in the production of a booklet, which will obviously be shared with yourselves.